Hello. No, I did not know that I hit live. Wow. Okay, I guess I'm ready. My goodness. Oh, people, you are so good to me. Holy crap. Like, let me grab my hairbrush. Oh, man, that is too funny. I hope you didn't hear the song that I was humming, because that's embarrassing. So, I was going to explain to you how this happens. So let me get started. I'm just going to brush my hair on screen. Hey, Coco. Hey, baby girl. Oh, my goodness. This is hilarious. So when you are going live, there's a little blue button at the bottom, like when you're setting up your live too. So when you're setting up your live, you press the button that says done and it's blue. And then in the exact same spot, once in a while, it says go live blue. So that's how it happened once a few months ago. I've been super careful ever since, but obviously not careful enough today, but that's all right. I'm just amazed you guys are here. Thank you so much. So yeah, now you can see me doing all my primping. I wasn't gonna do any of this. Should I just do my hat? Do I have hat hair today? I always have hat hair. Okay. And I'm really thirsty. And I have my coffee. I have my water. Is this still good coffee? Let me show off my super cool Pink Floyd mug. Did you guys get to see, and thanks so much for being here, you guys. I'll get caught up. Did you guys get to see the hearing, the sentencing hearing for Hannah Gutierrez Reed? Because it was fascinating. And at the very, very end, the prosecuting attorney played a video of photos of Halyna Hutchins, and they played Pink Floyd Wish You Were Here. And it brought me to tears. It just brought me to tears. So I had already been using my Dark Side of the Moon mug this morning. It's not morning anymore. I missed it, but I'm here. So you guys know how I just like to be direct and honest with you and not talk about my problems. So, one of my problems is that I've had a lot of teenage kids. So I've been a mother of teenagers for 8 years, I think. I'd have to sit down and do all the math. 10 years. I've been a mother of teenagers for 10 years. I think 8 years, I had 3 teenagers. And now I still have 2 teenagers. The one's about to turn 20 this month, so he won't be a teenager anymore. But then the youngest is 12 and a half, so she'll be turning 13 in January. So I'm still looking at having 2 teenagers for 3 more years, the 17-year-old, the one who turns 17 next month. And I thought that the first 2 teenagers were hard and that I did all right with them. Yeah, they didn't prepare me for this third one. He's killing me. So that, I literally think that, hold on one sec. Okay. Now, how's everything? I literally think that stress of the 17-year-old that's been kicking my butt for a long time, I think that combined with the food poisoning is what propelled me into the full-blown vertigo episode. And so I'm still not completely out of the woods. and I feel like crap. So be nice to me. And you guys are so nice to me. I just can't believe you guys were waiting here for like 15 minutes. So let me try to speed read and get caught up. Please, if you still want to put up with me, make sure you're still subscribed and share the video if you want to tell them to fast forward through the first 15 minutes of nothing except your brilliant chat. I won't call that nothing. You guys rock. Turn on your notification bell to ring in case I'm actually in the screen when I say I'm coming on live. So how's the sound? And let me get all caught up. Annie Ruler says, hola, and I don't have any prizes today. I got to get the ones in the mail. You didn't send me, or did you? You did send me your Las Vegas address, didn't you, Annie? I have your little adorable earrings somewhere here. I got all these drawers right in front of me. Okay. I showed them off again yesterday. But I've got Shan's stuff to send to her. I've got Sandra Lankford's stuff to send to her. I got Annie Ruler's stuff to send to her. So I'm going to go ahead and get these things in the mail before I do any more giveaways, just so I don't get ahead of myself. And then there was another person who won something. I'll have to look and get their name. Well, she did text me. So let me go ahead and read her name out in case she's forgetting that she didn't send me the address to send it to. Let's see if I can do this real quick. I can't do anything real quick, right? Everything is such a freaking royal pain in the booty. So Bonnie. I'm not going to read the last name because I think it's her email name is different than the handle. She's got a profile picture of a tiny giraffe in her email. And so, Bonnie, please send me your address. I've responded to your email twice, but I don't think you said, should I send my address? I said, yes, please. Congratulations and welcome back. Then I sent you a message the next day saying, love your tiny giraffe profile pic. And I've heard nothing from you, which is okay. Take all the time you want. But I do want to get your, you got the Bobo T earrings, right? Yeah, I think you did. Okay, so I'm going to speed read and get caught up. I do have a couple hours today, you guys, as long as I'm not going to fall over from feeling like crap. And, whoa. I got to keep the fan on me because I feel like crap. Come here, Coco. Come here. Here, let's get you up in here. Come here, baby. Oh, no, things are falling. My whole world is falling apart. Let's see if I can get it to not fall apart. I was going to try to get Coco on screen, but I think that might just be a little too ambitious. See, look at, okay. Screw it all. See, I try to not even have things that are going to fall down because of this, but then I'm like, I just want to have my Statue of Liberty, please. That's kind of essential. And then I might as well have Marlon Brando, the fucking badass that he is. Oh, I didn't say the F word, did I? But holy crap, man. Gravity sucks. So yeah, I need to get the super glue in here. And seriously, you guys. All right, I'm going to put my tranquility back up because I got to get my tranquility going now. It's now or never. Do or die. Okay. And then the chair. Get the chair moving. Am I set? Is it safe to sit down? It's never safe to sit down. Okay. As long as nothing bumps anything. Okay. My wardrobe is not malfunctioning, but you know, it's a pain in the booty. This is why I usually wear like a little jacket thing over. And I think I'm going to, because as much as I'm warm, let's just put this one on. Let's see how this works. I don't want to be staring at my big white shoulders because every single time you do this, you guys, your camera angle is slightly different and it makes you look lopsided or big or small or whatever. And I'm already self-conscious enough because of the monsters that we just won't even talk about them. They're just so freaking annoying. And so usually I can hide them pretty good, but on the screen, it's tricky because the screen does weird things. Like you don't even know which way is which. Trying to, fuck it. Okay. Now, I'm going to try to stay calm. Every time I do the done, when I'm setting up the live, every time I make sure that it doesn't say live. And then I skipped that one time. Okay. So live chat. I think I'm going to have to just speed read through. It's like everyone's just saying hello, which is super sweet. I always like that. And I really like, what is it? True crime, lost souls in chat. Lost souls, true crime in chat. She always says, hello, ranch boss. How are you? Hello, Bex. How are you? And I love the way she says, how are you to everybody. She's got the Southern accent and it's so sweet. So I don't want to copy her, but how are you, everybody? Okay. I have to leave in 70 minutes for doggy routine shots at the vet. Oh, well, that's good that you're doing that. Yes, I've got a cancer consultation tomorrow with the vet. So it'll be tricky getting onto my live, but no trickier than today, I guess. Today was just tricky because the 17-year-old had a 2-hour delay at his school. And he had that yesterday too. And, yesterday he was telling me how I'm like the worst mother in the world. And I let it bother me all day. I don't think I showed it on my video. Maybe I did. But at the end of the day, I was like, oh, wait, he's mad at me for being mad at him for not going to school or. Right. That makes me bad mom. I remember now. Okay. Like he's a gaslighter. I've got a gaslighting kid. Can you believe that? He really is. He's kind of sneaky, and I'm not going to go on and on, but you guys, I need help. And my husband's good with him, but my husband has a crazy hectic schedule. He does horrible work helping people in the most heinous of situations. So he needs to relax when he's at home, not get psychologically beaten up by his windbag child. I don't think he'll ever see this video, but his friends might tell him about it. But I'm sure they don't watch me either. But all it takes is one, right? Severe storms possible here in the next 24 hours. Oh, good. Then they'll be headed this way soon. This is hilarious. The suspense buzzline. Oh, you guys are awesome. Emily Baker Red. Yes. Emily Baker. She's a lawyer, right? And I've watched her channel and I like her. And I see that she's one of the few people who's doing a lot of coverage on the Hannah Gutierrez read. So believe it or not, I got the entire freaking 2-hour hearing under my belt at regular speed. Because if I do it fast, it gets me stressed out. And that's not what I need. Teenagers, the reasons not to have a second litter of kids. Yeah, I know. I thought I could do it. I thought the toddlers were hard. Yeah, it's a whole new game. And this kid, he's a whole new game. He's always been the most challenging. And then I do feel bad because there is some of the middle child syndrome thing going on. And that's my fault for having a middle child. I should have stopped it too. But no, I'm kidding. I mean, he's the greatest gift. He was the sweetest little baby in the world. I don't know how he turned into such a rat. He really was so sweet and so cuddly. Oh my goodness. So, but I told him this morning, I said, sweetie, I'm sorry. We'll make it through this. And, without things like that, we wouldn't be normal parents and teenagers, right? So it's just hard when you're going through it. I will be in Vegas April 27th. And yes, you did send your address. I feel your pain. I have a 20-year-old who still acts like a teen and a 16-year-old. So my 22-year-old has always been pretty good. I mean, she was difficult at 16 and she was difficult at 3. But other than that, she gets a pass because she's freaking amazing. And she's graduating from college this month. And then she's going to become a occupational therapist. So she's getting a doctoral degree in OT, you guys. So that's super exciting. And then the son, who's about to turn 20, he's out there fighting for peace with the Navy and doing a special elite assignment in Washington, D.C. He's an honor guard. It's freaking amazing. He got married. He's all grown up, I'm kind of joking, but still truth to every joke. So I think it's hard for the 17-year-old who is a little freaking genius, but how geniuses can be kind of not that smart when it comes to certain things. I think he feels like it's really hard to stand out as the genius that he is. So he's tried all these different things, like the 3D printing. So the kitty cats that he 3D printed. Totally cool. Totally cool. And then the armadillo that he 3D printed. And I mean, these things are amazing. And then, he tried to stand out with things different than what his siblings have done. And he does stand out, but I think he gets frustrated with the fact that he's a mere mortal. He thinks that he should be superhuman and not have to sleep, and then he should be able to go to school or not go to school if he doesn't feel like it. Because that's what happens is he stays up all night and then he doesn't go to school. And then, he was like sneaking out at night and lying and, the whole freaking gamut. So it's been rough and the trust is broken. And I'm trying to work with him. I'm trying to do the right things. And then he wants to tell me that I'm the worst parent in the world, which, I'll believe it because, yeah, look who trained me. So, and again, I say that jokingly and lovingly because my father was completely like Scott Peterson or Amanda Knox or Hannah Gutierrez Reed. I mean, this is how I know narcissists so well. He is a criminally insane narcissist. He raised me a lot of my life, unfortunately, but I made it through. Barely. And then my mother is or was also a narcissist, but she was a nice one. So she was an artist, and it's kind of hard to be an artist and not be a narcissist. You have to really be centered in your own psyche and your own vision. And, in a lot of ways, she was completely the most generous, awesome person in the world. And anyway, I won't go on and on. I'll just say that I know narcissism and, of course I've got narcissism too. Again, you couldn't have a YouTube channel without having some narcissism, and some narcissism is healthy. If you didn't have any, like if you had no ego, you'd have failure to thrive. You have to have a little bit. It's just too much is not a good thing. So let's quit flapping my jaw and get to the freaking cases. So Hannah Gutierrez Reed, what a freaking dirtbag. And Halyna Hutchins, what a seriously sad situation that she lost her life at such a young age. Look at these things. I'm telling you. See, this is why I have to sit in an angle. And then look, if I sit in an angle, it looks like one is like 4 times bigger than the other. Where's my black jacket? This is why I have to just stick with black and not stray. Oh my goodness. But again, who the hell cares? If that's my biggest problem, Halyna was shot in the armpit. I think it was in the right armpit. It went through her spinal column area and came out her back left shoulder. It tore through her, you guys. It shredded through her. And then it went into Joel Sousa and it stayed there. And she said, I think it was Joel Sousa came over to her. Maybe it wasn't Joel Sousa. Maybe he was injured too. He was probably injured too badly to say something. Whoever, I forget who it was, who said to her, who asked her if she was okay. And she said, I can't feel my legs. And then she said, this is not good. This is not good at all. And then she was gone. So the color drained from her face in no time. the medic was probably right there after that, because otherwise the medic would have been telling that story of her last words. I want to say it was Dave Hall. Is it Dave Hall or Dave Halls, the assistant director, that was the only one who just admitted culpability like a grown-up. I mean, I'm not saying that he's perfect, but he's admitting culpability. And if only Hannah Gutierrez Reed did that too, she would have gotten off with probation. And I'm glad that she got the full sentence, which was only 18 months, which it had looked like that was the harshest punishment she could get. But then at some point it looked like it was 36 months, but it's 18 months. It doesn't seem like that much for what happened. But, you know, the judge threw the book at her with good reason. Hannah cares about nobody but herself, in my opinion. And there were some crazy things that were said, you know, and she kind of acts like a teenager. I'm still looking at your comment that's pinned, Annie. Teenagers. Mr. Mark. Okay, where's everybody? The jail phone calls summarized. Yeah. And she's like, oh, this is going to interfere with my modeling career. And not to be mean and superficial, but come on, give me a freaking break. What are you, like the next Cindy Crawford? I don't think so, girl. Get real. You know, the part where she said in her own statement that Hannah Gutierrez Reed gave to the judge on her own behalf, where she said, I promise you, I would respect the bounds of parole, probation, whatever you want to call it. I promise you, I would respect the bounds. Like, that kind of goes without saying. So the fact that she said that tells you it's 100% not true. Like, yeah, girl would have been back to her old ways. So she had a couple of sores on her mouth. And again, not to be mean, but Amanda Knox had a big sore on her mouth during a lot of the court stuff. Of course, that can come with stress. And I'm sure being in prison is a little stressful, and going to trial is a little stressful, to say the least. But also, sores on your face and mouth can happen from rug use. And apparently you can get your hands on any rug you want when you're in prison. I don't know from personal experience, fortunately, but we've all heard that. So it makes me wonder, since these people were probably rug abusers, and that's probably 100% to do with what got them into the situations that they're in. I would bet my bottom dollar, both of them, that without rugs, the people would be alive and they wouldn't be in prison. Anyway, so if they're continuing their rug abuse in prison, then that's going to give them the open sores on their faces. And, you know, karma's a biatch. Let's see. I feel your pain with teens, Bex, a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old. Yeah. So, you know, boys are harder than girls too, in my opinion. Girls are hard. Don't get me wrong. Okay. And CB says almost 18 and 15 years, or teenage years, are so fun. I think she's joking. There is life after teens. I feel for you. Oh my goodness. If I make it through, seriously. I mean, when the thing happened with the vertigo, I thought maybe it was a stroke or something. And I honestly think that the stress with what's going on with my kid, because I'll just be straightforward, you guys. Every time I say goodbye to him, I'm afraid it's going to be the last time. The kid drives dangerously, despite the fact that his father's law enforcement, EMT, and firefighter, despite the fact that he works for a mechanic. He does burnouts. He got busted doing burnouts. He got busted doing 55 in a 35 zone. That was when he had snuck out, and that was 4 a.m. on a school night. Okay. Gotta go get some Zen. Where's my tranquility now? Please. See, that's why I had to have that in here today. Anyway, I'm trying to get caught up. He will be a successful man, your manipulative son. Like him makes... My My daughter, like him, makes 2 times income of her twin. And see, he wants to be like the next Elon Musk, and that's scary too. Like, I don't want a kid like Elon Musk. No, thank you. Okay. He is going to see and be mortified. He is going to see this and be mortified. Nah. I mean, it's nothing we haven't talked about. Again, I don't say anything to anyone that I'm not comfortable it getting back to them, and especially in a public forum. Because like I said, all it would take is one. And I know that, my kids' friends know about my channel. For a long time, I didn't really let anybody that I knew know about my channel. It was like my secret. So I have been trying to integrate my 2 worlds more recently. So I let people know that know me personally that I have this channel, and they have fun with it. So it's just different. It was interesting, and especially because of what my husband does for work. So that's a large part of it too. If that wasn't the case, then maybe I wouldn't have to feel like I need to be so secretive, like tell you that my name is Jazz or Xena. But then again, trolls are real and stalkers are real. So that son is talented. My daughter alarmed Windows, etc. Keep writing him to be good. Give him melatonin at 8 p.m. It's a great idea, Annie. I mean, I don't like to promote dependency on substances, but I've been trying to take his phone at 10 p.m. and he won't give it up, which I understand. But I think that's a large part of it, is just the electronics. And then he's like, but if I can't sleep, then I have my phone. And I'm like, yeah, I know. We all know. We're all in that same boat. And then you get on your phone, and then you can't sleep more. So you got to be careful. And teenagers, I mean, I don't think I'd survive being a teenager in this hostile climate that we live in these days. My boy 17 was same until his best friend just passed. CB, was that the car accident that you mentioned a few days ago? Things have changed in the last few weeks. Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. That's heartbreaking. That is absolutely heartbreaking. Me too, sweetheart. It is trying something we can all do. Have a good one. Enjoy your day, everyone. And what was that? Parallel universe Salty Sage lives in. What? I'm not the only one with stress in my life? And see, it's really good to not feel isolated, because, it's easy to feel isolated. Too bad they didn't come with instruction books. I know. CB, how horrible. Sorry for your son and you. Absolutely. Have a great day, everybody. And Drift, Anna, Sunset, Mark, Bex, Annie. Do we have Annie and Anna? It looks like we do. We got both the A's. And they would have did their job better, not hide up Alec too. Yeah, I still, you guys, I was thinking about it this morning, and I was thinking how easy it is to get gaslit. And Baldwin is quite the gaslighter. He's a pro. What are the freaking chances that he just happened to fire that gun that he would never fire at the same time that it just happened to have a live round in it, which it would never have? No such thing as coincidence when it comes to homicide. I don't believe it was an accident. I don't. It just kind of like dawned on me like a brand new day. Like, there's no effing way. There's never going to be a live round in a prop firearm. And you're never going to fire a firearm, even with a dummy in it, when you're not filming and pointing it directly at the camera at close range. And of course, he wasn't pointing it directly at the camera. He was pointing it directly at her freaking armpit. And then we all know that whole Stephanopoulos interview where Baldwin goes into great detail about how she was instructing him on exactly how to hold the gun, exactly how to position it, down to the last millimeter and micromillimeter. cheat it this way and hold it that way and do this and do that. And he's like, is that good? Is that how you want it? Seriously, it was so bizarre the way the man was talking. I was just like, he is not describing that. Weird. Right there. Is that where I should put it? Crazy. Anyway, so he's blaming her for the fact that he shot her right where he shot her and that it killed her. Then more recently, he's trying to blame the EMTs for, I think, allegedly mishandling her corpse because she was already deceased by the time they got hands on her. Okay, let's see. Yeah, CB, that is so sad. I'm so sad for your child and for you. So scary. And it was teenage boys in cars are just a lethal combination. This is why we get raked over the coals on the insurance. They don't understand. I mean, doing burnouts in a parking lot in a pickup truck with his friends in the back. Yeah, I admit it. And then 55 in a 35 zone at 4 a.m. when you've snuck out on a school night. Like, it's like they're trying to get themselves in trouble, right? Especially available in Truckee jail. Fred Field, excellent point. Yeah. I know, I try to keep that in mind, that the jail there, the Nevada County Jail, is allegedly who runs the game in that whole area. And it's a big game in that area. So it makes sense why they didn't want anybody to focus on anything. And they just wanted to brush it all under the rug and whitewash it and pretend that this 16-year-old child just did a bunch of stupid stuff, just like her ex-boyfriend told her not to, if she would have only listened to Jägermeister. So how come everybody that seems like they're the guilty party, it seems like they all say, and the last words I said to them were, I love you. And they said, I love you too. And then you find out that they're the Scooby-Doo mask wearing unalivers. It's freaking crazy. But then you get these not intelligent ones like Chris Watts who say, well, we had an argument, but it was just a little argument. So the reason why these other group of people want to pretend that they were all lovey-dovey is because they don't want to hint at a conflict, because then the conflict can explain why things went the way they went and there was a fatality. So the really stupid ones say, well, we had a conflict, but it was no big deal. It's not like we were going to kill each other or anything. But yeah, I know they're dead, but I don't know anything about that. Just because we had a fight doesn't mean we were fighting. Right? Like Scammy. Come on, you guys. I put her picture, or Kylie Rodni's picture, in the thumbnail with Hannah Gutierrez Reed's victim, Halyna Hutchins, and Amanda Knox's victim, Meredith Kercher. And I don't want to upset anybody who has a different theory. I'm not saying that my theory is accurate, and I freaking hope that it's not. But I think that Amanda Knox instigated the violence against Meredith Kercher, and that she instigated an essay against Meredith Kercher, and that she might have even violated Meredith Kercher herself. I think, in my opinion, from what I've seen. I think the same thing with our dear, lovely Kylie Rodni could be true with Scammy. And I'm not afraid to say it because of all the freaking evidence that we've seen. I think that the fight that happened was between the two of them, the friendly fight. And I think that Scammy might have essayed Kylie. She might have encouraged others to, because if she got other people in on the criminal activity, then they're going to have a huge investment in protecting the truth from law enforcement, as if law enforcement cares, right? Because we all know that there were children of law enforcement and niece of law enforcement, Kate Cuneo, that were there. And so they probably called their law enforcement family members right away and said, oh my goodness, what do we do? What do we do? Allegedly, in my humble opinion. So my son has 8th grade education. His dad wanted custody and didn't make him go to school. Oh, successful pool C. I don't know what that last part means. Do you get the feeling it was an advertising stunt like Mama Kardashian distributing the X tape of Kim to blow up their Hollywood presence, extreme as it was? But I'm not sure what you're comparing that to, Drift Away. But yeah, I definitely think that what you said is true. 100%. Is your 17-year-old related to mine? Right. Remember that we were created to live for eternity, no matter how long we're here on Earth. Right. And I almost thought you were being sarcastic for a moment there, because one of the huge problems with teenagers is, like, they know that they're mortal, but they don't understand the magnitude of the fragility of life, in my humble opinion. Let's see. Did you see the Mom and Riley case? In interview, Riley messaged Mom saying his drink tasted funny. No, I'm not surprised. I haven't followed the Riley case yet. Like I've said, I don't feel like I have the bandwidth, because I try so hard to get all of the information on the cases that I do follow. I try really hard to have a thorough understanding of each and every case. So I try not to get involved in new cases, because especially the cases that are old that I'm interested in that get kicked back up, like O.J. Simpson, then I want to go back and review, like, do I have that right? Like the thing about the freaking Ben and Jerry's cup, like I was thinking about it after the live and when I was reviewing it, and I thought, if there was more than one Ben and Jerry's cup, then that would indicate that the two of them were eating ice cream out there in front of the house. And so I went back and looked at all the material, and lo and behold, only one paper Ben and Jerry's cup. So what I didn't know is that Nicole and her kids went into Ben and Jerry's right across the street from the Mezzaluna before they went home after dinner. So Mezzaluna was the restaurant where Ron Goldman worked, where the family all went out to eat. And, her mom left her sunglasses there. And so Nicole called, and then Ron Goldman said, I'll drop them by. So, she drew a bath, a bubble bath. She was burning candles. She had music on. Like she had it all going on. Like, they were very interesting couple, despite the 10-year age difference. And anyway, so he was bringing the sunglasses to her, but the guy at Ben and Jerry's said that she came into after Mezzaluna, she came into Ben and Jerry's to purchase the ice cream with her 2 kids and a guy that did not fit the description of Ron Goldman. So, it could have been another family member. I'm not saying that she was out with another guy that night. I'm just saying that it's interesting. So there wasn't a cup of ice cream for Ron Goldman. So there was 1 cup of the bubble bath was still going. The music, it wasn't running, but ready for somebody to get in it. And then the music was still on and the candles were still going. So there were candles in the living room and in the bathroom. So she was planning, I think, in my opinion, on bringing her guest into the living room and then into the bathroom where they could then clean together, talking about the freaking Amanda Knox weird ass letter where she says her and Raphael cleaned each other that night and he scrubbed behind her ears. Like, it only confirms for me that there was probably red stuff behind her ears, and he probably did clean her to make sure that it was all gone. And, I'm not convinced that Rafaela, I'm not convinced that he was in on the assault. I'm convinced that Amanda was in on the assault, and that Rudy was in on the assault, and that Rafaela was in on covering it up and cleaning it up. But I wouldn't think that he participated in the essay. But I think that Amanda and Rudy did. And I think that poor Meredith, who I didn't realize knew karate. I mean, she's a really small, petite little person. So I would imagine that that was a good thing for her to know karate so that she could feel safe and confident and comfortable. But with two people up against her, and especially with a weapon, so we know that there was a sharp instrument. Oh, it just makes me so sick. It makes me so sick to see these girls bat their eyelashes. I think we've seen that with Hannah Gutierrez Reed. We've seen that with Amanda Knox. We've seen that with Scammy. They think, oh, I'm so pretty, I couldn't possibly get in trouble. And then you've got people like this, what is her name? Jenna Bremmer. She's an attorney that you see on TV a lot, kind of like Gloria Allred, except without the ethical behavior. Something Bremmer. And she is part of Amanda Knox's bogus team for, it's called Friends of Amanda Knox or something like that. So, they're all trying to help get her extra exonerated, because being exonerated isn't enough. You got to get more exonerated. Just like kiss the ground and move on with your life. But no, she can't. Anyways, this Ms. Bremmer with the blonde hair that is part of that team for Amanda Knox. What was I going to say about her? That her argument is that Amanda was a really good student and she worked 3 jobs before she went to Italy. So there's just no way she could overnight turn into a sociopathic unaliver. Like, that's not an argument. Like, that has nothing to do with anything. Unless I'm just stupid. Anyway, I guess that's an option, right? That's a possibility. Let me get caught up again. Let's see. That's so sad about Riley. And yeah, I think a lot of these cases, people do get rugged. I don't know that Meredith got rugged. I think that Kylie got rugged. In all of these cases, well, let's just talk about Meredith and Kylie for a moment, and then we'll put Halyna in there too. With the first two, with Hannah and Kylie. Not Hannah and Kylie, Meredith and Kylie. Their perps, these females that I think are their perps, may have been jealous as a motivation, as a motive, and jealous of kind of their goody two-shoeness. Like, it sounds like Kylie, who I'm sure had a bit of some badassery in her, but that she was also very responsible, very studious, and that somebody like Scammy might have been very jealous of that. It certainly sounds that way with Meredith Kercher, that she was not only a very good student and a hard worker, but she just kind of was more poised. That's a really good word. Let's use that word for Kylie too. That these teenagers had class, basically. And then Scammy and Foxy Noxy also had a lot going for them, but no class. Let's just say it, in my opinion. So by taking away their dignity, by violating them in that most intimate way, probably made them feel very, very powerful. That's my guess. It's just theory. It's just speculation. I'm not saying that that's what happened in either case, but I'm saying that I believe that that's very likely a possibility of what happened. And then with Hannah Gutierrez Reed and Halyna Hutchins, Halyna took her job seriously. She was poised. She had class. Could we say the same about this ragamuffin who shows up to work with green and purple hair in flannel and is all like strung out and can't keep track of props? And then she's like crying and trying to hide stuff and destroy stuff and asking people to lie for her. I'd say that is like the opposite of poise and class. So there's that element too, that these people that have been destroyed really had it going on. And then these dirt bags were jealous of that and just thought they could rub them out. I mean, in Kylie's case, it looks like Scammy was trying to become her. It's like that single white female thing. And in Meredith Kercher's case, I don't think I mentioned the money, you guys. I want to say that there was exactly $300 missing from Meredith's room, and that $300 was the amount, or not dollars, it would be euros because they're in Italy, but the 300 units of currency, Italian currency, whatever it is. We'll just say euros. That Meredith had that like on her dresser, and that it was missing, and that Amanda allegedly, I haven't been able to find it again, but I had come across that information through True Crime Rocket Science a long time ago. So I've been redigging that there was money missing from Meredith's room. So that could be what started the fight. It could be that Amanda just stole her money. And I think all the females that lived in that house with Amanda, they'd only been there for about 6 weeks. Amanda and Meredith had only been there for about 6 weeks. I think the other two were a little bit older and they'd been there longer. So probably 2 people moved out and those 2 moved in. But all 3 of the other roommates were really sick of Amanda bringing strange men into the house. Very, shall we say, free-spirited. And they were also very sick of her being so messy, which, any roommate situation, that is an issue. And then for her to not have rent money, and then to have that employer, Patrick, from Le Chic Bar, text her and tell her not to come to work that night. And I don't know how good their tips were, but if it was a really hopping bar, she maybe could have made enough in one night to pay the rent. I don't know. I mean, some jobs are like that, and that could be one of them. But whatever it was, she was broke. She didn't have rent money, and I believe that that was part of it, is that she thought maybe she could get away with just taking Meredith's money. That, Meredith had financial support from her family, that Amanda's parents, although they weren't broke, they didn't have the kind of money that it took to send her to Italy and support her. So she was self-supporting, which is a very noble thing, unless you're stealing your money. But I think one of her parents worked at Macy's as like an accountant or something. And I don't remember if that was the mom or the dad. And I don't remember what the other one did. But also their families, they don't think of their siblings. I mean, victims as well as the perpetrators, they just hurt so many. They hurt so many. Exaggerated details to point the blame. Yeah. And no seat belts. Oh, CB, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. So it could have been avoided. Oh, that's terrible. Throwing my hand up like Horseshack on Welcome Back, Cotter. Oh, what is it? Drift away? Oh. If this isn't a lesson learned for him, I don't know what is. Oh man, talk about learning the hard way. Told her his rum and cola tasted almost like barbecue. She told him, well, don't drink it. Ooh, bizarre. Bizarre. Well, I know that in Nashville, there's a thing with men getting drugged and then robbed when they leave the bar and then ending up in a river. That's been a pattern. Let's see. Started to get a lot of phone calls. See you all later. Hey, Mom First, always nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. And I forgot to text my my people, my moderators. So CB's a mod. She's here. Let's see. Whatever happened to that officer busted with over 500,000? I almost said 50,000. 500,000 fentanyl pills in Nevada County, I'm sure, but can't find info any longer. Well, that was the same kind of rumor with Xana's mother in the Idaho 4 case, Kara Northington. She was allegedly busted with even more than that worth of fentanyl, right? I don't know if it's true. I mean, a lot of this stuff, even when we can find it, quote unquote, verified on the internet, I mean, we don't know that it's true. We don't know. A lot of the information is going to be misrepresented intentionally, and then some of it's going to be misrepresented on accident. And let's see. I believe now state is stepping in to investigate it all further now. So if it's on purpose, it's called disinformation. If it's by accident, it's called misinformation. So just FYI, anybody who's interested and doesn't have that clarification, you probably all do. Mom First, goodbye. Have a great day. Riley's mom did the right thing asking for a second autopsy. No pants, no boots, no water in the lungs. Right. I've caught some of that. And why is it so suspicious that he had no water in his lungs and that it said drowning victim, but not suspicious in Kylie's case, right? I also saw a report on the news about a bar that was spiking drinks. Oh, yeah, they do that. They would then charge up credit cards, something like that. And you'd have bartenders that would be perps. Did you see the cops are circling the area Riley was in when he said hello to one cop? The video had some seconds edited out. What are they hiding? So thank you for reminding me, Annie Ruler, the CCTV video that is, I referenced it yesterday, of a single woman walking in a big coat near the location of where Meredith Kercher was assaulted and attacked, fatally attacked. That CCTV come out until 7 years after it happened. It took 7 years for that to surface. So I found this out through True Crime Rocket Science, and he doesn't think that it's Amanda, but I think that it could be. I definitely think it could be. I'm going to look at it more. Maybe I'll put a still shot up on my community post. But that was news to me. And that other case that I was mentioning yesterday, the boy over there in Manchester, it was CCTV footage that got some Yosef Maki killed by a rich kid. It was the CCTV footage that showed that the two boys that did that to him were lying about what had happened, because they basically said it was self-defense, that he attacked them, which he didn't do, and he never would. He wasn't that kind of kid. They were those kinds of kids. But they're, they've gotten a little bit of justice in that case, but the family's not going to stop until they get full justice. And because the kid comes from an affluent family in that area, in a very affluent area, they're really up against a lot trying to get justice for their child. And they're not affluent. Their kid won a scholarship to go to a very prestigious prep school where he was hanging out with all these brats. And that's a disadvantage. That's kind of similar to what Kylie might have been dealing with in Tahoe, in Truckee. And that, from a different angle, is kind of like what Amanda Knox was dealing with too. I mean, that's some serious pressure. That's some serious pressure. Annie Wow hadn't seen this information about Riley. Hey, in your presence, nice to see you. And if you die before trial, does the government exonerate the accused? Fry at jail concerns me. See, I always thought that Koberger would get Epsteined. So it shouldn't. I mean, it really shouldn't, but sadly, what Crime Watch with Kenny was sharing with us the other day in one of the lives with what happened to his sister, that was the case, that because she passed away, even though it was from her injuries, that the case was dismissed. And that's crazy. That is so crazy. And again, that's a different country, but yeah, I'm very concerned about Fry's little switcherooski. Like, why does he want to go from police chief to sheriff, especially after 29 years? That's extremely bizarre. You make it to your 30-year mark for your pension. Police pensions are very strict, and unless they have some funky loophole, it's not gonna, probably not transfer. So he's only going to get 29-year pension instead of a 30-year pension. But with his wife being in charge of all of the finances of Moscow and the clerk of courts, maybe he doesn't have to worry about money no more. A lot of these people seem like they don't have to worry about money no more. So all of a sudden they're just like unemployed and it's fine. Angela Masala, I don't know if she's unemployed, the spokesperson for Placer County. But if she is, that would be very interesting, especially to know what her salary was. A lot of these sheriffs in California are making well into the six figures, like $250,000, $500,000. It's crazy. It's crazy. Come to think of it, some of the sergeants at Wazoo make that much money in my research that I've done looking at that online. Again, if the site that I was on is legit, and I can't name the site right now, but it was like a government site. But sometimes these things are misrepresented, so you have to take everything with a grain of salt in these cases, I think. Her bloodstream was probably fueled by illegal drugs. At some point, you were going to crack like OJ did. I posted a couple of videos on the fire cam. In my opinion, parties don't happen often, as they say at the sanctuary. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Is that posted on Rumble or YouTube or both? And say her bloodstream was probably fueled by illegal drugs. At some point, you were going to crack like OJ did. Also, in discussing the OJ case, I was kind of not so clear in talking about what had happened with his 2-year-old back in the 70s. It was a month before she turned 2. And how the trauma of that affected everybody in the family, of course. And God forbid, may that little angel rest in peace. I don't know the details of what I saw when I was looking at it recently. It was just that the child was wandering around the property by herself. And then I think the mom, was the one allegedly that found her in the pool and called 911. But I thought that when I came across that information years ago, that it was a party, that they were having a party and that people weren't watching her and she and that happened, but I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. I also wanted to throw it out there that Arnell, the older sister who was 9 years old when it happened, that her and Jason could have a lot of survivor's guilt because this was their baby sister. I would imagine that the mom, a lot of survivor's guilt, maybe even OJ, but being a narcissist and a psychopath, maybe not. But it is his baby, so maybe give him the benefit of the doubt on feeling that unthinkable loss. Of course, unthinkable. But what I wanted to say, with Arnell living in the second pool house on the night when Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were attacked, that Arnell, I think, provided a little bit of testimony in the trial, but if she did, it was very little, which was odd because she was home just like Cato was home. So she would have had as much information as Cato, basically, even if there was nobody like, her wall, the way Cato describes the noise that he heard. But she was protected. She was definitely being protected. Like, she was not, they were not coming after her for testimony the way they were Cato. And then there was the whole thing with Cato that, he was the mule for OJ, and that's why he was committed, because they busted him with large amounts of rugs in his possession, that they negotiated with him not to charge him with that if he provided testimony. So let me stay caught up with you guys, because I think I got way behind. I think Sammy had help in the fight. Possible someone hit Kylie in the head with a tree branch. Wow, Fred, I fully concur with that possibility, but I have not heard of those reports before. I don't think I've ever heard of those reports, so I'm interested. No, Kylie is 100% angel, and her wings are white. Aww. I believe it. I mean, she's 16 and she was very driven, very successful, recording music on top of completing high school so early and with honors, and holding down a job at the tea boutique. That's a lot. You're not going to have any. Plus, then she had a boyfriend too. Let's see, where are we? Sorry, we are at 1:16 and so I'm 20 minutes behind. I apologize. Let me highlight that and then try to speed read and get caught up with you folks. Let's see. Sammy want to be like Kylie and want to be like me. Oh, I saw that MC had a 3-hour video up. It showed up in my feed. I'm like, why would that show up in my feed when, like, that's the last thing I want to show up in my feed? That was called like an a day, and it was 11 hours prior to when I saw it, and it said it was a 3-hour video, and it's just like, why are you making a video called that? In a blah day or something? Anyway. Weird, but who am I to criticize other people's content? We're all just doing our own thing, so different strokes for different folks. That was a good point, and it was. I wonder if Amanda is manic depressive. They can have sticky fingers and be hypersexual. It's a very good question, Annie Ruler. She did use a lot of the soda pop substance, the snow, and it's hard to ferret out if someone is suffering from a mental illness versus addiction in a situation like that. I mean, they mask each other, and maybe she was self-medicating. It's a very, very good point. Apparently, one of the reasons Patrick didn't like her working at the bar was that she spent too much time talking with the customers and he would constantly have to remind her to work. So I would imagine that she was like flirting with the customers, and that maybe she was dealing. Maybe that was how she could ensure that she would make a lot of money to pay her bills. I don't know. That's pure speculation. So maybe I should take that back. I'll just say it's pure speculation. I mean, kids that use often deal at least to support their habit. And we know she was using. So here's a question. Did the guy who says he worked on Kylie's car see the last known store picture? Because if he's going off that, could he have seen as at the car? Because that picture looks too many. Interesting question. I would imagine that he saw it. No, it was 500 plus in his home. Okay. Mrs. G, I'm asking a question. Katie Bug. You believe Nick G? Yeah. I used to believe Nick G. I think he's trash now. Let's see. But yeah, Katie Bug's just asking a question. Katie Bug, Lana did a 3-hour live the night before Riley was found. Towards last hour, we'll have these slowed down skips because some seconds are missing. Weird that some seconds are missing, huh? I'm the only one that believes NG. You're the only one left, CB. I believed him for the longest time. I stuck by him for the longest time. Although I did question him right up front because the whole thing with his fingerprints being on the seat belt excuse because he was helping her figure out how to attach her seatbelt the right way. That was weird. Had me going for a minute. Don't hate on me. Ha ha ha. In Cabo, I had security pour a beer in to go. Then he had a small taxi try to rob me. He was beheaded a few years later. Cabby, cartel keeps us kind of safe. Holy crap, Annie Ruler. I can't believe you feel safe hanging out down there. But, you know, who am I? And it's not like we don't have cray up here. I'm saying SS is dressed up like Kylie, and he saw the last store pick, and that's what he's comparing from. Wouldn't they then definitely look alike? Well, Katie Bug, and I think that maybe what In Your Presence is saying is that she thinks that Nick's whole story is made up, but I don't know if that's what she's saying or not. But thanks for explaining. I'm going to read it again. I'm saying if SS is dressed up like Kylie and he saw the last store pick and that's what he's comparing from, wouldn't they definitely look alike? I would think. Off to vet. We'll catch rest on replay. Have a good vet visit, Fred. Haven't had enough coffee. I'm explaining weirdly. Thanks for reminding me to finish my coffee that I'm still holding, and I'm going to show you the dark side of the moon side. How appropriate the week after the eclipse, right? Let's see. My apologies, but True Crime Rocket Science thinks Kylie was drunk and drove in the lake, so he's not my friend. Yeah, I don't agree with him at all on that case. I think he did really good work on the Amanda Knox, debunking this guy, Maxwell Gladwell, is that his name? Isn't it the guy who wrote Blink? And anyway, he wrote a bunch of books supporting Amanda Knox and what a genius she was. And let me look it up maybe. And then Nick from True Crime Rocket Science, he debunked this guy. So I liked him for that because this Maxwell guy had a lot of clout and people took him really seriously. So let's see, who wrote Blink? I think it's the same guy. Malcolm Gladwell. Is that who? Let me see if that's the same guy. Malcolm Gladwell debunked by True Crime Rocket Science. So Malcolm Gladwell, I don't know if it's the same guy that let me see. What is Nick Vander Bleek? Nick, the guy from True Crime Rocket Science. Sorry, you guys. True Crime Rocket Science debunked. It'll be worth it, at least for me, hopefully for you guys too. I can't believe you already sat through the beginning. Okay, 11 years ago, Amanda Knox said she would take a polygraph, did she? So debunking Gladwell's analysis, but is it the same Gladwell is what I'm trying to figure out. Let me see. I'll have to look into it later. I think it's the same guy. So if it is Malcolm Gladwell, that book Blink is a good book, but he completely ripped off the book that I'm always quoting, The Gift of Fear. He basically plagiarized the entire book, repackaged it, renamed it, and tried to call it his own. He made millions of dollars by ripping off Gavin de Becker. So I have no respect for him, despite the fact that I thought it was a good book. Had I not read Gavin de Becker's book, and I read it more than once, so I knew it very well, like the back of my hand. So many people didn't recognize that Blink was basically plagiarized. So I believe that Malcolm Gladwell that did that with that book is the same guy that tried to stand up for Amanda Knox. And anybody who's going to try to stand up for Amanda Knox is disgusting anyway. I think a lot of people try to stand up for her because she's pretty and because she's an American and because they're stupid. But if they had a brain, they would see that she is conniving, evil, slippery, just another freaking dirtbag. So where are we at? We're at an hour and a half. And how far behind am I? About 15 minutes. So let me try to speed read. So thanks for that in your presence. Thanks for reminding me because yeah, it was with the Halyna Rodni case that I completely quit following True Crime Rocket Science. I got really upset with a lot of that. And, you know, that was a divisive case for a lot of us, I think. But there were quite a few channels that I just quit paying attention to over Halyna Rodni's case. And that was definitely one of them. And I had forgotten that was the reason. I knew that I remembered that I quit following him for a while. And it's fine, I think, to not like what people say, even if you like some of the things they say. You know, we all have our own opinions, and I think it's important to think for ourselves. Crime Watch's sponsor is Sheath Men's Underwear Pouches for the Huevos. Oh, that's funny. Our Crime Watch, is that Crime Watch with Kenny or is that a different channel? That's so funny. Let's see. Good afternoon, Lady Twitch. I am the same about DTS. I like the guys, but can't take the cops do no wrong theory. Yeah, a lot of those channels, like I used to watch them when I first got into true crime on YouTube, and I just don't because I know a lot about real life law enforcement, and just because somebody has been in law enforcement, it doesn't mean that they have the answers. It means that they know how to play the game. It definitely means that they know how to play the game, and that they've probably seen a lot of internal crime as well as street crime, in my opinion. And in a sense, it's almost like they've sold out, because you're not going to survive in that without being a sellout to some extent. So, Katie Bug, you remember the live Sutton did with CCTV on the fire cams? You should check it out once again. It was the same day she couldn't show her face. Whoa, girl. What, could she not show her face? Because I remember people were like wondering if something had happened, and she got very offended because she was like, my husband would never do anything like that. But yeah, and maybe it wasn't her husband. Maybe it was somebody else. Where? That is crazy. It's on both the fire cam videos. Cato. Cato. It's weird seeing him as an older guy, because he still looks the same, but he sounds different. CCTV also lost everything when her computer crashed, and that was the enemy preventing the truth from coming out. Yep, that happens. I watched that trial. I don't recall anyone else being at OJ's but Cato. Yeah, so Arnell was home, so she didn't testify at all. I couldn't remember if she had testified a wee bit. She was home in the other pool house. So a lot of people that watched the trial didn't even know that there were two pool houses, or that there was somebody residing in the other one. So that person, Arnell Simpson, was living next to the pool where her little baby sister passed away when she was 9. Like, that's just crazy. You know, staying in the same residence where something that tragic happened, it's a trigger. Like, why would you do that? And I'm pretty sure that his kids all are very troubled, which isn't surprising given the family history. But, you know, it's almost like they don't have a chance at living healthy lives with being dealt that hand, which is really sad, because they've got a lot going for them, but without any truth or integrity or love. Speaking of love, you guys remember Amanda Knox wearing that "Love is All You Need" t-shirt to one of the court dates in Italy, and her trying to explain that away with, again, the bad social skills. Well, I was just young and dumb and didn't realize like what an impact it was going to have. And, you know, the "Love is All You Need," like, yeah, that's a good message. That's a Beatles song. But it was like written on her giant white t-shirt that was like a dress in red, like, you know, the red stuff. What a weirdo. And again, writing on a white t-shirt. What a quinky dink, Thinking about Kylie, the Find Kylie teens, the teen to teen team, all those teens trying to protect each other, trying to protect the Truckee Way. Anyway, thanks for your comment, Driftway. Let me highlight that. So yeah, I couldn't remember because I read all the books by like Ito and Charles Darden. And that was another thing I wanted to say, was the only reason Ito wanted to be on this case was for the multi-million-dollar book deal on the other end of it. It was very unethical for him to be the judge in this case, with the relationship between Mark Fuhrman and Ito's wife. And Ito and his wife lied and said that they didn't know Mark Fuhrman from Adam when they did. They knew exactly who he was. He had been quite a thorn in Lance Ito's wife's side. I forget her name right now, but I think she just passed away a couple of years ago. And they were loaded. You know, she was like the assistant police chief for Los Angeles County, something like that. She was a very high up rank as a female. And then Ito being a judge, they were already loaded, but that's why they lied so that he could be the judge on this case was that he could get his multi-million-dollar book deal. That's not just my opinion, that's fact. I'm spitting mad. Spitting nails. Let's see. Titled Kylie Rodni, I'm not done with the fire cam footage. And also I want to add, like I read, what was her name? The best friend of Nicole Brown Simpson, Faye something. I read, she was the first one that published a book before the trial was even over. I read everything I could get my hands on. You know, I was living in San Francisco, which is where OJ was from. And I was kind of from LA. So, you know, it was just extremely interesting to me. And I had the ability to watch it. I was in graduate school at the time, so I could just sit there and study while the court thing was on. Man, that was a long trial. It seems like it was 3 or 6 months long. I don't even remember, if anybody remembers or wants to look it up. Let's see. That was a bug via the fire cam footage. It took out a few sites that it was emailed to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it screwed up What's the Obsession really bad. She had quite an extensive system that got fried. If I'm remembering accurately, we could ask her. In Your Presence says it's very important to see how CCTV proved the cameras being real by going out there, and before they took it down, she showed her car out there and even saw the dirt bikes riding around. That was a discussion on Zav. Her PC crashed also. Yep. So many did. Didn't even Shan's did, I think. I can't remember. I may be wrong about that video. Lord of the Flies, scary guys at the party, but let's stay and roll. The missing sticker of Ram. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mark. Yeah, the Lord of the Flies. I think that to me communicates the savagery. And I think that they were acting savagely out there. And I don't even want to think about what that implies. I'm with you in Your Presence. I would much rather have it be that Kylie had no assaults of the essay type. I hope that she didn't, but I think that she did. So I know we differ on that, and I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. SF, Nick, Zanny, check it. Tony D, know each other. Yep, 100%. And MC Ultra, put her in there. There's a couple others. It took 12 days for law enforcement to release the altered surveillance video. You're talking about Riley's case, Annie Ruler? So sorry, I'm so far behind. I started out behind with this one. Too funny. In my opinion, Kylie went to Prosser for one reason. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I mean, she didn't know that, of course, but I totally agree with you on that. I think it was premeditated. I don't think it was accidental. They might have tried to spin it as accidental, like for themselves and for each other, you know, just more of the gaslighting and deception. Cray RU was more on point than people realized. I don't know. Cray RU was more on point than people realized. I don't know who that is. Meg got her and then left her with the devil. Oh, that's gross. Yeah. In my opinion, he's not very intelligent. Hello. Can't trust a guy named Maxwell. Come on. Maxwell Silver Hammer. Well, and like, why would he be all wanting to protect Amanda Knox? Like I said, why would anybody want to protect her? You know, except to make money off of her. I mean, certainly that's what CNN was doing. And so, yeah, I could see where Maxwell had an alliance with them. And also where that Bremmer, female blondie attorney, has an alliance with them. But why CNN would do that to their own credibility, the answer is in the question. Money, 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 money. I can't imagine how many millions, if not billions of dollars they made off of the Amanda Knox trial. And I like to try to remember to call it the Meredith Kercher trial because, you know, it's terrible when these victims get upstaged by their perps like Kylie and like Halyna Hutchins and the dirtbags there. I can't wait to see what happens to King Dirtbag in July. He didn't have to be intelligent to connect the dots via the information that was being given. Anything good he's done was erased when he blamed Kylie for her. Yeah, definitely say it out loud. You know, like I said, I quit watching him, so I really don't know what he was saying about her. And so I appreciate being informed because, you know, I don't respect channels that just go with the status quo because I think it's all too easy to do that. And I think that's why a lot of people are still covering Idaho 4. It's not because they think it needs to be covered for justice. It's because they're trying to get the clicks and the likes and the money. And, you know, I'm just not willing to discuss it unless I think it can be productive. And I think that case is ridiculous. So I'm not going to try to get thousands of views by talking about it. No, thank you. I'd rather talk about things that are meaningful. And as long as I have at least one of you guys willing to listen to me, then I'm just going to try to be true to myself and true to what I perceive as the truth. It's so hard to figure out what's true and what's not true with all the gaslighting and all the lies. And then you have these people in positions of authority that don't know that difference between right and wrong, and they'll just gaslight whoever they can to try to make money. So I'm talking about the big mainstream media. I'm talking about law enforcement entities. I'm talking about YouTube channels. Anybody who's willing to sell out, screw them all. Okay? Are we clear on that? Like, just don't be a sellout, man. Have some freaking integrity. Have some class. Give me a freaking break. So thank you in your presence. I appreciate you filling me in on what was being discussed when I tuned out because I just couldn't take it. It was just like, no, thank you. You know, any of the channels that were going with the status quo, I just took a vacation from. Some a permanent vacation, some a temporary vacation. And I do like a lot of what True Crime Rocket Science does, like with the Amanda Knox case, like with the Rust case. So I'll just keep it case specific. That is fact, CB. Oh, look at all of those emojis in your presence. Very expressive, girlfriend. I love it. That's hilarious. Never seen so many emojis. I will never believe they thoroughly searched Prosser and could not find that vehicle. I agree. Drift away, 100%. I like your typo too. Annie Ruler says, I would like to see helicopter video from news when they flew over. Car was way too deep 2 weeks prior. If it was there, 45 feet when found. Yeah, I don't think so. No, you all must follow me and think like me. Yes, Mr. Mark. We will blindly follow Mr. Mark Chit Chat Investigations because he makes sense. Where did that go? Where did that go? Sorry, how many minutes am I behind? 20 minutes? No, 15 now. Okay, I'm getting a speed read. Keep saying that. Get caught up. Yes, but anyone speaking on Kylie Rodni needs to not talk out the side of his neck, him or anyone else. I agree. Yeah, again, there's so much effery already. We're trying to see clearly when nobody wants us to see clearly. And it's become clear as day to me, in my opinion, that Scammy and Miniature Hamburglar are being protected because their parents run the town with their moolah. That's my opinion. And I think they had everything to do with it. I think Sammy and her bare hands, I think she was hands-on. And I think that other people too. drift away. Oh, did I do my disclaimer? I can't remember. I think I did at the beginning, but maybe not. Anyway, it's a long one, so I'll go ahead and do it again. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion and learn something, be educational. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. Okay, where's the thumb? The thumb. My pen. My thumb. All right. And my coffee, and I'm speed reading. I believe everyone has the right to their own speculations, channel info. We, as thinking for ourselves adults, should also have the right to not listen, follow, or comment about them. Absolutely. And yeah, I just feel it's really important to call out effery when I see effery. I think it's really important. Honey Bunny, hello. I love the handle, Honey Bunny. Maybe it was Law and Crime with Sheath Undies, one of the high audience channels. Oh, how funny. Follow your own hearts and info and keep focused on your own missions. Absolutely, Drift Away. I love that. I love that. Yeah, the train wrecked, and who did it? It was never implied, by the way, in the Sutton, by the way. My point is, if you think they are presenting misinformation, why bother with them? Yes, absolutely. Mark, what? Ram sticker was not on the car hauled out. Annie, 20 feet deep before dropped to 14 when AWP found them. Oh my goodness, you guys. So the Stacy Peterson case that, Drew Peterson, the cop from outside of Chicago near Fred Field, her sister Cassandra is trying to gather the resources to get her remains, or the remains that she believes are hers, the human remains that are in the bottom of the, like, it's not a river. What did they call it? It's like I think a man-made river. There's a certain name for it, a culvert or something. Anyway, so Cassandra, Stacy Peterson's sister, is trying to get resources together to get these human remains out from the bottom of the water. And if anybody wants to donate to her cause, I'll try to put a link in the description. And it's something like Justice for StacyPeterson.com or just StacyPeterson.com. So she's got a GoFundMe, and law enforcement won't help her because, blue backs the blue, in my opinion. Anyway, she was on another news show last night, and I'll put a link to that in the description too. So that poor girl, and she won't give up, and God love her for that, for her sister. Sutton made CCTV take that video down. I turn channels when I see that you're still not looking at facts and viewers play along. Yeah, I've cycled through a lot of channels that I used to watch. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to waste my time. Thanks anyway. Thank you. No, thank you. CB answered your question. I've got a great story about Cart in Lakes, but it's a campfire story for in person in August, Mrs. G. Okay. I don't know. Are you guys planning something? Mr. Pookie Grammy, hello. So sorry I'm late. Well, you're right on time. No problem. The fact with Kylie is that vehicles would have never gone that far. Absolutely. And she would not have been in the back and had no water in her lungs if it were just an accident. Exactly. Drift away. You said that very well. I couldn't agree with you more. And yeah, I've thought that for a long time, that there's so many points about that story that are just preposterous. And so like 5 different angles or 20, like there's none of that story makes sense. None of what Scammy says makes sense. Her whole freaking story is preposterous from the ground up. All of it. She's an idiot. And yet she's been able to run the freaking narrative. Oh, it's so frustrating. I better quit using my hands to talk because I was noticing yesterday there was a lot of disturbance on the video, and that really is annoying, isn't it? I'll try to stop with the hands. The fact that Kylie, yeah, that's the one that I have highlighted. Any ruler, check out Tiff's. Yes. Good channel. If you want to drop the link for Tiffany, is it Tiff Kylie Rodni, that channel? No matter how they, so yeah, Mark, if you want to drop that link, that'd be great. No matter how they want to tell the story of how it happened, tell the truth for Kylie. Exactly. The truth will come out. I'm sure of it. It just might take a while. It has taken a while. The sooner the better. I mean, it's such a relief, even for the criminals. It's such a relief when they can finally just like breathe and quit looking over their shoulder and just deal with it. Face the music, right? Question, what does the dad know and what does it mean he is so silent? Are you talking about Tony Neiman, Mr. Mark? Tiff Justice for Kylie has a great underwater video. Cool. Yeah, let's check that out. We can't figure out what happened, so let's call it an accident. Right. And it's a lot less work. Then they don't have to investigate it. You know, they don't have to like have detectives on the case. They just let the California Highway Patrol handle it. Hit the like or else. That's cute. Hello, Michael McAllister. Nice to see you. Why don't we have badges? Badges like for membership, because I just started my membership thing and I haven't done that yet. If that's what you're asking about, Mr. Mark, I'll check into it. Let me highlight that. Let's see. I just started with the memberships like, I don't know, a week or two ago, and I need to work on it. We'll sell out for 400,000. Do you want my video account, my Venmo account? You're funny, Mr. Mark. Sell out, Mark. Yeah, that's too funny. The live stream on the other platform was not letting me respond to anyone's questions, and it was running so slow. The live stream on the other platform? This live stream? Huh. Because I'm only on the one platform. I'm only on YouTube. 331 is my other name. If just an accident, why all the hiding? And why don't they have their freaking California Highway Patrol report complete yet? A year and a half later. Give me a freaking break. No. That's cray-cray. That's what I'm saying, as are all of you still questioning it. And yeah. Thanks for the link drop-in, Mark. Oh, and so to let you know, you were asking people to drop the link in your chat yesterday, or I think it was yesterday. And Shan was trying to let you know that only mods can drop links. So I don't think you have any mods yet. If you want to mod up any of your Squirrel Squad people or whoever you want to mod up, or if you don't want to mod people up, that's cool too. But just know that only mods can drop links. 31 feet and deeper. No, we need law enforcement badges. Okay, good. I thought you were like saying that I needed to do something. Phew. Trying to keep up. Jazz, sociopaths have no conscience. What? I forgot. Seriously, it's hard to remember that. It's very good to point out the obvious, because for those of us that do have a conscience, it's hard to remember that there's some people who don't give a flying F about anything or anyone. And so what you're saying makes my statement null and void, that, that the sociopaths can breathe and quit having to look over their shoulder. But even the sociopaths, I think, it's stressful. It's stressful having to live a lie. So even as a sociopath, I think there's some relief in facing the music. even if you don't have a conscience. It's just so that it's just a me thing, just a selfish taking care of yourself thing, that it is a higher level of stress to be running from the truth. So remember, was it yesterday or the day before that? I think it was yesterday. I was showing you that I could only find the one page of the 4 pages of Amanda Knox's ridiculous letter to law enforcement. So something happened to my 4-page copy, and I tried to reprint it, and I told you guys I'm getting low on ink, and I asked my husband to refill the ink, and I don't know if he had time to do it yet. Anyway, in her 4-page letter, you guys, she refers to herself roughly 200 times. So I'm going to count exactly how many times, but I had one page that I couldn't read clearly, but I could estimate. It was roughly 200 times that Amanda Knox refers to herself in a 4-page, 4.25-page letter to law enforcement that she's supposedly typing up to give to them to help them figure out who did this to her roommate, who she did mention 10 times, all of 10 times. Whoa. Like, does that tell you everything you need to know? There's sentences where she uses I like 7 times in one sentence. I've never seen anything like that. Here's one right here. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then she refers to me and my. So altogether 8 times in one sentence. This is the sentence. Like, talk about self-absorbed. And I stand by my statements that I made last night about events that could have taken place in my home with Patrick. But I want to make very clear that these events seem more unreal to me than what I said before, that I stayed at Rafael's house. Oh my God, it just makes my head spin. And there was something in particular that I wanted to discuss with you guys. I mean, she's just crazy talker. Crazy talker. At her very last sentence, which she only refers to herself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in one sentence, says, please believe me, at least in that, although I understand if you don't, all I know, oh, sorry, that's 2 sentences. All I know is that I didn't kill Meredith, so I have nothing but lies to be afraid of. So let's just focus on that very last sentence. All I know is that I didn't kill Meredith, so I have nothing but lies to be afraid of. I think the very end of the sentence that starts with I have nothing but lies to be afraid of. And this is taking it out of context, but still, her words are important. Why is she selecting these words and stringing these words together to form a sentence? I have nothing but lies. Interesting. So, yeah. There is so much to dissect in that letter. There's also an 8-page letter that I'm going to print out and maybe read to you guys in the next couple of days. Oh my goodness, we are getting close to 2 hours. I'm glad that we've had a good amount of time together today. I'm still working on my coffee, still trying to stay caught up, and still trying to finish my notes. So hold on one sec. I know it's almost 2 o'clock, so I got to finish this coffee, so as not to break my own rule too much longer about not drinking coffee after 12 noon. So where were we? Driftway, thank you for that comment. They do not need to let it out and just breathe. They're proud of all the wrongdoing that they get away with. Right, but it's still stressful, you know. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Driftaway, and I really appreciate you bringing that up. Just makes them feel stronger. Yeah, it emboldens them, and then they're more likely to do it again. This is why it's important for there to be justice for the Watts family in regards to NK. If she's guilty of what I think she's guilty of, and she's running loose in the general population, what's going to stop her from doing crazy stuff again? She's got a history of doing crazy stuff too. And history has a strange way of repeating itself. Annie, 31 out, 20 deep, then 55 out and 14 deep. CB's done some homework. Thank you for the specifics. That's great. Driftaway says, I'm sorry. After water level dropped, it's from last night video on Squirrels on Fire. Oh, did I miss last night's video, Squirrels on Fire? Yeah. I went to a yoga class last night, you guys. So it was the first yoga class that I was able to do post vertigo. But it was just a restorative class, but still, I had to be very careful, and I didn't even do everything. But restorative is like the easiest, and nothing's easy. I mean, in a sense, but it's not vigorous, is what I'm saying. Because yeah, for me, just the day-to-day, getting in the car and having to drive somewhere is vigorous. So I miss Squirrels on Fire. Dang it. I'll have to catch up on that. CB, I'm curious who paid attention in math, and could they figure out how far Kylie's car actually went in the water level? We're 3 feet higher as media reported. I know someone said, but not me, LOL. Water levels drained according to TMWA between 4 to 6 feet. Prayers for you and Coco. Yeah, I'll be taking Coco in tomorrow morning. Yes, and then I have a dentist appointment the following morning. So we'll expect the videos to be pushed back to afternoon tomorrow and the next day. I know yesterday I said I was going to be shooting for noon or earlier, and I tried today, and even without any appointments this morning, it was impossible. But I would have pushed it back further had I not started my live inadvertently. That was too funny. Let's see. But at least I have this cool set you guys could study, huh? I've been working my tail off and trying to clean it up and keep it simple and just do what I can to make it as awesome as I possibly can. I love it. I don't know about you guys, but I love all the freaking lights and silly things. Let's see. What have I missed? I want to highlight Michael's thing so we all remember if we missed the Squirrels on Fire to do the replay crew. CB, I'm curious who paid attention in math and could they figure... Yeah, because I was in Mark's live last night and then I didn't realize that Shan had one. I had checked, but just not at the right time, I guess. I think I checked a couple of times. And they could figure out how far Kylie's car went out if the water level were 3 feet higher, as media reported. I know someone can, but not me, Driftaway says. That's funny. Did I already read all this? I think I did. Yes. Prayers for you and Coco. Okay. Her car would have never been deeper than 25 feet, 19 with height of car, period. Yeah. Right. From nose, tail to nose, I think the car is like 15 and a half feet long. So, yeah. All right. It's Rumble. Oh, Rumble, Shan. Okay, I got to check out Rumble. Got to get over there. Squirrels on Fire on Rumble, Kylie Rodni discussion. Thank you, Mr. Mark. I got to get on that. She couldn't drive even if she didn't drive across that terrain at any speed. Right. I know as I was reading that, Mr. Mark, I was thinking of like Jesus walking on water and Kylie driving on water. So, I've got something for you with the Italian justice system. I don't understand exactly what's going on with the whole Amanda Knox case right now, but briefly in a nutshell, and you guys can fill me in if you know more. She's on trial right now for that 4-page letter where she implicates Patrick, the bar owner. So it's a criminal matter that she slandered his reputation. And I don't know how long these proceedings are. I don't think this is the actual trial, though. I think the actual trial is still upcoming. I think this is just some of the hearings. So I don't know what's going on. I keep trying to figure it out, and I can't get my hands on the information. But something that I wanted to say is that, I think that these were sex crimes that were committed with Amanda Knox against Meredith. I think that could be possibly, unfortunately, similar for Kylie with the Lord of the Flies party. But I honestly think that the Italian government is so sick of Amanda Knox, and that's why they kicked her out of their jail, that girl just won't freaking shut the F up. And she's such a pain in the behind. It would not surprise me in the least if the Italian justice system just wants to get rid of her to be done with the gaslighting nightmare that she is. I mean, even at 20, she was like full-fledged gaslighting nightmare. And she was very adept, very skilled with her stupid letters and her manipulating men. And I can only imagine how badly her roommates wanted her to move out. And maybe that was something that came up that night in a conversation or a fight with her and Meredith. They had been ragging on her about her lack of cleanliness, her poor hygiene. And the thing with the guys, like, that was hideous for all of them. It makes your home unsafe, and they already lived in an unsafe neighborhood. But when you have these random dudes coming and going and they're getting laid by one of the roommates, they're going to know things about the other roommates. So it puts everybody in that house in a dangerous predicament. Just saying. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I also wanted to clarify that when Annie Ruler asked me about the JFK Jr. airplane crash the other day, the day before yesterday, that I inadvertently accidentally said that it was a storm. And it was not a storm. It was the cloud covering. So that type of like pea soup cloud covering that happens by Cape Cod and Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket Island, that type of cloud covering grounds all flights. Like, nobody should fly in that, even if you know how to fly with instruments only to keep you level. Still not worth taking a chance. But JFK Jr. did not know how to fly like that. He was new at flying. He usually had a coach with him. His flying instructor wouldn't fly with him that day. Wouldn't or couldn't. I think wouldn't because of the cloud covering. But he was insistent that he was going to do it anyway, even with the cast on his leg. And it is just so sad to think about what his wife and his sister-in-law experienced because of his bravado. I mean, that's what's so infuriating. Like, yeah, it's sad for him too. And yeah, accidents happen, to quote Hannah Gutierrez Reed. She's just like, oh yeah, life is full of accidents and accidents happen. And, it's a bummer, but, I can't be held accountable for the accidents that I make happen. Ridiculous. Like, yes, accidents happen. That's why they're called accidents. But we all need to do everything we can to keep ourselves safe. And if we fail, we need to learn from it. We need to take accountability, no matter how hard that is. It can be very, very hard. It can be very hard to hold yourself accountable for the shortcomings that you've made that have affected and impacted others negatively. But until you do that, until you admit your shortcomings, you can't forgive yourself. And forgiveness is a huge part of the healing process. So I also was mentioning the thing about the cut on Amanda Knox's throat. And I don't know how many of you were already aware of that. I had not ever been aware of that until doing the deep dive study with True Crime Rocket Science, that she had a very clear red mark about an inch long and maybe like a quarter inch wide, right around her Adam's apple, or what would be her Adam's apple if she were a male. It's almost never mentioned, and you can't really find pictures of it because, again, mainstream media was trying to make her look innocent. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So let's see if there's anything else that I would need to put into this live before I wrap it up. There is, of course, there always is. There's always something. Let's see. Adios birthday lunch. Annie Ruler. Oh, your late birthday lunch. I'll send you your birthday present, girl. Have a good one. Rumble. I love it. Not censored. Yeah, sometimes that's the best way to go. Absolutely. Anna Bean, happy birthday. And let's see. So the thing I wanted to include before wrapping this up is the thing about Nicole Kessinger blowing up Chris Watts's phone while he's walking through the house with law enforcement and Nicole Atkins. And man, that girl, NK, was so controlling. She was in constant contact with Chris. She was in constant contact with him before the homicides, after the homicides. My guess is during the homicides. But for her to be blowing up his phone, and all that is on the police body cam, that is so revealing. And you could tell me that that's not her blowing up his phone, but I wouldn't believe you. Sorry about the lack of black for my cardigan. I should have had a black cardigan too. Just couldn't grab one fast enough. Wardrobe malfunction again. So annoying. Let's see. Still concerned about Kate Middleton, you guys. Did you see all this stuff about her husband taking Rose Hanbury's child on a play date with his child over the weekend? Pretty wild. And then the media, the UK media, is doing what they call like a soft launching with Rose Hanbury, just giving her a lot of accolades and attention and talking about her. Like, it just looks like Kate Middleton is going to be replaced by her, in my humble opinion. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah, so during yesterday's live, thank you to the chat for informing us that former Sergeant Chandler Cole was arrested for the investigation or the disappearance of Eric Foote. I haven't looked into that. Do you guys know, is he being charged in the disappearance? Is he being charged with, what's he being charged with? Like, they had to have something big to arrest him. So all right, one last thing before we wrap up. We cannot forget, in the Halyna Hutchins case, that this person, I have trouble calling her a person, the cosmic corpse that was sentenced yesterday, why in the world would her nickname be Cosmic Corpse? Even her father got up to speak for her, to ask the judge for a lighter sentence. And even what he had to say was like pretty meaningless. Pretty meaningless. The things that she said were very meaningless. And I highly recommend, I'll put a link to some of it in the description. It's about 2 hours, the thing that I watched from Law and Crime Network. But the very end of it, I'll reiterate how touching that was. The part where they played Wish You Were Here and had all the photos of Halyna. Listening to her family and her friends speak on her behalf, asking the judge for the heaviest sentence possible. And I got to tell you that the people in the chat on this Law and Crime Network, I don't know if they're like paid bots or trolls that work for Alec Baldwin, but they seem to like not give a damn about Halyna Hutchins and just be fully supportive of the criminal on trial. It was weird. I mean, I wasn't reading all the chat, but the ones that were catching my eye were things like, what was one of them? Dangerous criminal, LOL, or something like that. It's like, yeah, she is a dangerous criminal, actually. You know, she uses substances. She ignores her duties and responsibilities with handling deadly weapons, and she doesn't give a freaking damn. That makes her a dangerous criminal. Sorry, not sorry. It was so weird. And then there was one colleague, this real heavyset woman who was one of Halyna's best friends that went to graduate school with her. And she did speak for quite a while, but it was very meaningful what she was saying about her dear friend. Like they hung out a lot. Like it sounded like almost every day. They went to graduate school together. They worked together. They collaborated. So that woman probably spoke the longest of anyone. And there were so many people in the chat, like, shut up already kind of thing. It was just like, are you freaking kidding me? There was nothing that she was saying that was not interesting to me. But I saw people in the chat saying things like, oh my God, she's so boring. And I was just like, you know, these are probably trolls paid for by Alec Baldwin. We all know that those people do things like that. And they are so concerned about what people are saying in social media, and that they think that they can control the narrative by bringing out these armies of bullies. I remember so much of that in the Suzanne Morphew case. I called it the Barry Morphew Army. So on that, I want to catch up with you guys and then probably go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for being here with me, even when I wasn't here with you at the beginning. Okay, let's see. Driftway says, and she wants let off with a hand slap for what happened, feels no remorse for the incident and death. Yeah. Exactly. Oh my goodness. The one of Halyna's mother was one of the most touching. So it was videotaped and it was interpreted. So I was missing a lot of it, but oh man, it was so heartfelt. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that part. The part that really hit me that I could just like cry is that she still is so horrified that nobody from that side sent her anything or tried to talk to her, tried to give her any message of how sorry they were, of their condolences, of sympathy. Like that to her was the most hurtful part of the whole thing as the mom. And I found that very telling, that like that's what any normal person would do, or even like let's just say a bad person would do that just to try to not look so bad. But that tells me that they're hiding something. That's my opinion. It's like they don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole because there's a house of cards that they don't want to collapse. That is my feeling with the Rust case. I really think it was intentional. I think the whole thing is a sham. Me and my conspiracy theory, in my opinion, allegedly, right? No concept, no concern for what is right and wrong. Again, Driftaway, thank you for that. Thank you for checking me. I'm just overthinking it. Seriously, I'm serious. Yeah. Who's got time for that when, you got to go buy some new shoes or something, right? Yeah. All right, you guys, take really good care of yourselves, and nothing wrong with buying new shoes if you need new shoes, but what I'm saying, just people who are very superficial and self-absorbed. So sorry for the weird lighting. I usually try to tweak it so that it's all better before I turn on the video. And the weird jacket and the weird arms and chest and all that. See, if I just lean back a little, then it's not, it's crazy, like the angling. And nothing has really changed from yesterday. But then, like I said, it's different every day, just the slightest little adjustment. So peace out. Sending you light, sending you love. Thanks for your contribution to the live. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. If anybody feels like doing any financial support, I've got Venmo and Cash App on the description of my channel. I would be ever so grateful, but I am ever so grateful for you being here and watching, whether you hit the like button or not, whether you're subscribed or not, whether you're in the live or on the replay. I appreciate everything you guys do to keep me here, and for that, I thank you. So take good care of yourself, drink your water, eat your protein, eat your fruits and veggies. Hopefully you can get some exercise and fresh air and sunshine. Have a better day, Jazz. Check that kid. We all have to let them grow up. Still alive. I love those two last comments. Yeah, I think I'm going to just lay on the couch for a few minutes and then I'll get my bearings. And maybe drink some more agua. Where is my agua? I had my glass somewhere. I think it's probably in the other room. But is this like the coolest water bottle you've ever seen? Beautiful. It kind of looks like it could even be Lake Tahoe, come to think of it. I just love it. You know what? I don't know. It might be close to Lake Tahoe. I'll have to look because I have some photographs that do look a lot like this with an island in the middle of the lake. Do you see that? So I'm just going to take a drink and say goodbye. I'm going live again in a second. No need to attend. I will. I'll check you out, Mr. Mark. Thanks for letting me know, and anyone else who's interested. So peace out, light and love. And yeah, then I can just kick back, be in your chat, and drink all my water, get caught up so I don't get dehydrated. All right, you guys, love and light. See you on the next one.